All right, welcome everyone. My name is Kristen Taylor. I'm the Interim Assistant Dean at the TSU Thurgood Marshall School of Law's Office of Career, Professional Development, and Diversity Initiatives. And I'm happy to bring to you this evening an info session featuring the attorneys and team members from Monty and Ramirez. Monty and Ramirez is a Houston-based law firm. They're focused on the representation of employers in matters involving employment, labor, and immigration compliance. We hope that you'll have an opportunity to learn more about the firm and ask questions and learn about any upcoming opportunities to join their organization. So with that, I'm going to pass the control of this info session over to Joanna Robertson, who is the marketing director. Thanks, Joanna.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you guys so much for being here today and joining us to learn a little bit about Monty and Ramirez and kind of two of our main managing partner and our lead business immigration partner, Sarah. So Jake and Sarah started the firm over 20 years ago. So I'll go ahead and leave it to them to introduce themselves a little and give you a little bit of background about the firm and how it came to be. Go ahead, Jake. Oh, you're muted. Unmute yourself, Jake.
Thank you. Thank you, Kristen. Thank you, Joanna. Thank you, all of the TSU Tigers that are listening out there. Look, I did not go to Texas Southern. My sister and law partner, Sarah Monty, did. She served on the Board of Regents for about 6 years. But I got to see what Texas Southern was all about because Sarah went to law school there and I saw what she went through. And I also had a lot of friends that went to Texas Southern, and I went to U of H. But it was, I really respect the lawyers that come out of Texas Southern because it is the toughest law school to get out of. They make it so tough. And I saw what my friends at TSU went through when I was going through law school. And they were telling me about how, the attrition rate, and it was tough. And, my first semester was sort of tough, but I came to respect the lawyers that can get out of Texas Southern because whatever does not kill you makes you stronger. And I've seen that firsthand with Sarah, and I saw what she went through. And, the gauntlet didn't end the first semester. It kept on. I mean, even up until the third year, they were still messing with you guys. But again, I'm convinced that whatever does not kill you makes you stronger. And I've been very impressed with the lawyers that have come out of Texas Southern. We've built our firm around law clerks, and we've always had a number of fine lawyers from Texas Southern. One thing, and Sarah will expound on it, but our firm does labor and employment and immigration. And on the immigration side, we do mainly work for companies, but we also represent individuals in immigration. And let me just say, generally, the two areas that we practice in are the most dynamic areas in the law right now. Labor and employment deals with COVID restrictions, sexual harassment, discrimination in the workplace. I mean, these are not trendy areas of the law that are going to go away. They're going to be with us forever. And then on the immigration issue, I mean, immigration is all over the news. It's all over social media, a lot of issues facing the country regarding immigration. So we work in the two most dynamic areas of the law, employment and immigration. And we are very open and excited to be recruiting graduates and students from Texas Southern University. With that, I'll pass it on to Sarah. You're on mute, Sarah. Kristen, you may need to, can you unmute her?
No, I sent her a request.
Okay.
Yeah, there she is. Okay.
Okay, great. *6, got it. Well, thank you so much, and Dean Taylor for having us here. And yes, thanks for Jake for making that clarification. We do labor and employment. Our firm was built as a labor and employment defense firm, and that means that we we represented when we first started, employers. And in fact, from the labor and employment, that's what we do. But as an outgrowth of the demand in the late 90s, when I got out of law school, we established a business immigration practice. And about 10 years into the business immigration practice, we actually established a full-service immigration firm. So, from the labor and employment side, we only work for employers, but the immigration, we have a strong business immigration section, and we now also actually have a full immigration practice, meaning that we work with everybody from asylees to investors, okay? And every year, we've always had TSU graduates be part of our team. Right now, we've got a grade 2L that's rising, going to be going into her 3L, and she's here. She's from TSU, and we value her. And I myself went through TSU, and what Jake was alluding to is that TSU attorneys are strong. Our school, it's like the mama tiger. She's got to teach the little tigers how to defend for themselves, and that's what TSU does. It does force you to really be on your A game, and I will be forever grateful for TSU. Now, what we would like to do is to attract. We've got a couple of positions open for hardworking, and I know you're hardworking because you wouldn't be at TSU if you weren't, and people who are passionate about immigration. So we're not really looking for lukewarm. We're looking for someone that really wants to do immigration. And if you do immigration, one of the reasons I think that our business immigration team is so strong is that we don't only focus on just the business immigration. You're going to have to look if someone's admissible, not admissible. So you will go in with a wide lens into the immigration section. So that's what we're looking for, and we hope to be able to attract some folks. Now, one of the things that I think that why should you come to work at our firm versus other firms? We understand that your number one job is to get out of TSU. You're not in TSU to become a paralegal. So unlike most firms in town, we're going to work with you during your midterms. We're going to work with you during your finals, because we know the idea is it's important to get that work experience. It's vital, in fact. But we also understand that you are primarily a student, and we will accommodate you. We're looking for someone that, again, is passionate about immigration or labor and employment, but right now I believe that we're focusing on immigration, and someone that has the time when they're not doing their exams, about 20 hours to devote to us. And we're looking for a long-term hire. Now, we can't guarantee that we will offer you an associate's position, because that depends on, how many attorneys we need at the end of the year. But we do guarantee you that we're going to give you really solid experience. So with that, I think that that's all I have. So Dean Taylor, I don't know, I'll take it, see what we can do if you want to go ahead and take it over.
I wanted to ask Sarah and Jake specifically, what are some tips that you guys have for law students who are looking for internships? Is there anything that they can do during the interview process that would set them aside and kind of make them stand out?
Yeah, I'll take this. Look, I think you need to do research beforehand, really find out what the firm's main focus is, and do some research beforehand. If the lawyers have written articles in the past, if they posted something, do that research, because it'll show that you've done your homework. I think it's normal that you may not have decided that you want to do immigration or labor and employment, but so I'm not saying you have to specialize necessarily, but at least show that you've done some research into what the firm's areas are. I think that will help set you apart. We do require good writing. Writing is so important. You know, sometimes you hear immigration, well, it's just forms. It is forms, a lot of forms, but there's a lot of writing. So being able to be a good writer is important. Being able to communicate, arguing your client's case in writing is very important. So writing skills, I would say, are important. Passion is important too, because defending immigrants and defending companies that are trying to bring in immigrants is hard work. And oftentimes we're not able to actually represent our clients orally, but we are able to write a narrative as to why they should be entitled to bring this person in, or why this person should be able to stay in the country. So it's all about writing. Unfortunately, I know that, I'm glad I already got into law school, because I don't know that I'd get in with my LSAT score and my grades. But at the same time, I also know that I don't know that I would make it in my own law firm because of the writing that is required. I was not a great writer. The one thing I will say is, even if you don't think you're a good writer, you can improve. Writing is not something you're just born with. You can work on writing. And there's there's classes to take, there's books to read. Even if your writing is not great, or you've been told it's not great, that doesn't mean you're destined to always be a bad writer. Sarah, do you want to add anything?
Yes, and Jake's special. He's labor and employment, and I'll fuss at him because forms. Okay, immigration. If all you do is the forms, you're not going to do anything. What the form is like a table of contents, and it basically tracks the statute. So that's just a little bitty part of what we do. As Jacob says, the writing has to be persuasive. It has to be good. It has to be tight. It has to be, it's critical. So writing skills are critical. Research skills. Immigration is one of the few areas of law where the government has decided not to reduce most of it to regulations, right? You've got the statute, then you've got the regulations. Well, in immigration, the government says, you know what? They don't really want to commit to regulations because they would rather just do whatever they want to do, which is what they do. So research skills are so important, because unlike most established areas of law with immigration, you've got to go way beyond just the statute and case law and the regulation, because in many cases there's just not any of that stuff. So you're going to have to go to memorandums, and that's what the government does. They issue these memorandums, and you've got to basically trace down to find out which one is the most recent one. So research skills, you've got to be inquisitive. Why? Immigration is tough from that point of view, and that's one of the reasons it's hard, I think, because you've got to be able to have a background. And that's why, Jake, with immigration, I do ask that people really want to do immigration, because there's a whole lot of background that you've got to get before you understand where exactly to look for your issue. So it's not like labor and employment or criminal, where you can just basically go to Westlaw, Nexus, and find yourself through there. With immigration, it's a lot harder. So that's why I do ask that, that people come in with knowing it's going to be hard, but willing to spend the time to do it.
Let me also say that one question we get is, well, I'm thinking about immigration, but I don't speak Spanish. Will it work? Look, languages help if you're an immigration practitioner, but they're not required. I will say that every lawyer in Texas, whether they're African American, Latino, or Anglo, should know some basic Spanish. but we're talking about occupational Spanish, not, talking about, esoteric subjects in Spanish. And I think as long as and we've sent lawyers from TSU and from other schools to that work on their occupational Spanish. Doesn't have to be perfect, but you do need to, ask, when did you come into the country? Show me your visa. So it's basic stuff, but don't let that you don't speak Spanish or another language deter you if you have that passion to help immigrants and companies. I think the language part is an easy obstacle to overcome.
Yeah, and also too, with that, most people took high school Spanish, and working at our firm, you know what, it's amazing how much you're going to pick up. So that's actually another added bonus, is that you're going to be immersed in, because so many of our clients do speak Spanish, you're going to pick up a lot of pointers. But again, you're practicing law in English, so don't let that be a handicap, and it should not be. It should not be at all. Okay. Well, good. Let's see.
Yeah, Sarah, that's great. And I will speak as I'm not personally a lawyer at the firm, but I'll speak to kind of the firm's culture for a little bit. It's a really, really fun place to work. The culture around there is very much so. Diversity and inclusion is one of our core values. So we really try to keep everyone included. We celebrate each other's victories as well as support each other wherever we can. So I think anyone that was looking to come to the firm not only has to, have a dedication and passion towards area of law, but also they have to be a team player and just, passionate, willing to help out wherever they can. And then I will ask just one more question, and then I'll open it up for questions. Sarah and Jake, what is one resource that you think would be best for labor and employment, just kind of to get your footing around? And then what is one research element for immigration that you kind of frequent? Would you say like the American Immigration Lawyers Association? Right.
Yeah. And it actually, that AILA, it's AILA. You really can't practice immigration unless you belong to that organization. And the great thing about it is that they have student memberships that are very inexpensive. But no matter if you don't want to, as students, you just don't have any money, we will provide you with the access to those portals, which are critical. And again, that's AILA. As far as labor and employment, I don't know, Jake, what would you say?
Look, I think you need to read, you all have access to Westlaw and Nexus. And I think just reading, recent cases, there's blogs, there's podcasts on labor and employment topics. I think you have to dive in and get passionate, read up on cases, listen to a legal podcast. I think, it's you got to put in some effort and learn some different areas of the law. Certainly, I know immigration has been offered by Texas Southern in the past. I don't know if it's being offered now.
It is, and as far as I know, it's one of the few universities that actually has a master's program last time, and I don't know if that changed with COVID, but immigration is an important part of the curriculum at TSU.
Oh, great. And then
I'm sorry, I was just going to confirm there is an LLM program in immigration law, and I believe students also can work in the immigration law clinic during their second and third years at TSU. I believe the labor and employment class is an elective for third year students. So our first year and second year students probably, unfortunately, won't have the ability to learn more in an academic setting about labor and employment or immigration. But I definitely, support what you're saying. There's tons of resources available on the internet to kind of delve into that subject a little bit deeper.
Yeah, let me just say this also. I'm always one of my role models, when I was starting my firm was a TSU grad by the name of Marty Wycliffe. And he was very helpful when I started my firm and at different points in my career. And I've often, been a sounding board for people, even if you just not really interested in applying right now, but you just have some career questions. I'm a good resource for someone who, didn't make law review, had mediocre grades, graduated, found a job, worked at a place for 6 years, and then started my own firm. So I'm always happy to talk to lawyers or law students that are wondering, how is it that, you set up a firm? How is it that you get business? I don't think law schools do a good job of teaching lawyers the business part of the practice of law. And I'm always happy to talk to lawyers and law students about that.
That's great. Yes, Jake is a very good resource in that aspect, and he's always willing to mentor. But I'm going to open it up now for the students to see if they have any specific questions.
Hi, my name is Nayla Underwood. I'm currently a 1L, and I have two questions. So, Sarah, I know you were speaking about how you're looking for someone who's very passionate about immigration law. And as someone who isn't sure of what area they want to practice, I wanted to ask, what would you suggest to help me find, that area? I know some people suggest doing internships, but like in this case, there are some internships that specifically want individuals who are certain about what they want to practice and do. So I just wanted to ask you, do you have any advice for how to navigate and figure out, which area you're passionate about without being able to experience that in an internship or whatnot?
Yeah, and
Great
you know
question.
what? That's a good question. And the truth is, when I went to law school, I actually thought I was going to be, because I was a school teacher and was passionate about the plight of educators in this country. And I walked into the immigration class with Professor Colon, and I came out of my first class and I said, that's it. So it's a matter of exposure. So I think it is maybe a little bit unfair that I'm asking for passion when you don't know whether you're passionate about something. So I think that would be going into a class. And with internships, we actually are hosting actually a TSU student now. She's actually undergrad, and she came in and did a great job in helping us set up our naturalization class. Yeah, and so actually now she's kind of moving into the area of actually getting to work on cases. So, internships sometimes do, but the problem is with smaller firms sometimes, it's hard to find meaningful internship positions. So I think the way to find out if you like something, I think I would either, maybe it could be shadowing. Maybe that would be a week or so. Also, too, it would be the blogs, and of course the actual getting into a class and taking care of that. Now, with TSU students, well, actually all students. With 1Ls, what I really want you to do is I want you to do real well, and I only will allow 1Ls to come and work if sorry, let me turn off that. If I think that that their grades are strong enough. So 1Ls, we are welcome. But to your question, yeah, you need exposure. You do need exposure. So let's say you're not sure whether you're going to like one area. I can offer, maybe a week of shadowing for some folks. Again, sometimes it's hard because you want them to see but at least being in our office. And that's the way we started with our Rochelle as an intern, and now she's a firm part of our team. And I think she's going to be applying to law school when she finishes her undergrad. I hope I answered your question, Neela.
Yes,
Did I?
thank you. And my second question, oh,
Let me just jump in really quickly, Nayla, just so I can kind of speak on this same topic. So I think, first of all, what what Sarah's talking about is really helpful. And if you guys are interested in establishing a shadowing program, please reach out to me and I'll be happy to publicize the opportunity to some students. But one thing that I think, in addition to just having passion for immigration, I think at its core, immigration is about helping the quote unquote underdog, right? Fighting for someone who can't necessarily fight for themselves. And so that's what I think at the core, what you need to be connected with. If you want to work for people who need representatives, who, want to have access to all the benefits and privileges and rights that people have in this country, who want to work and earn a living, those sorts of things, it's still, it's not a public service practice area, but it is, you are helping people to achieve their goals and dreams versus, necessarily working for a corporation or assisting with a financial transaction or something like that. So if that helps you, I think, the subject matter might be immigrants, but at its heart, it's, litigation, fighting for people who need to, get access to services. So I hope that's helpful. Okay, but yes, please go with your second question.
okay. My second
Okay.
question, you spoke about a current 2L who's working at the firm, and I just wanted to know, could you talk about her day-to-day activities and like her role at the firm and different things that she does? And is she a part of the more immigration side or the labor and employment side?
No, labor. She's actually immigration. And you know what? Let me just tell you what. She's part of immigration. And you know what? Now I'm thinking, she reached out to me on LinkedIn. And, and I was real impressed. She said, hey, I see that, she reached out to me. And usually, I should tell you, I used to be a little bit lazy.
Wait a minute. Is that legal? Can you reach out to people without,
Yeah, it is.
No, you're right.
That's
I'm joking, but yeah, being proactive, I think that's smart. I just wanted to chime in there.
Yeah, she's the one that reached out to me and told me, listen, this is what I would like. And I should go ahead and tell you, before I used to be a little bit lazy with recruiting, because you know what I would do? I would just call Professor Colon and I'd say, Professor Colon, send me your best and your brightest. And he was always a dear. I know he's not doing so well. And so that's why I'm going down this route. But yes, exposure, reach out to folks.
And what kinds of things is your student working with now? What kind of projects or assignments is she doing?
We had to work with her. She probably spent the first 3 months. We had to kind of, we would have to parachute her in to the area we wanted research, okay? Because again, it's difficult to research in an area that doesn't follow the normal span. So what we did is we actually provided quite a bit of training on with secondary sources on the different benefits. Like we would she would actually do quite a bit of studying before, and then we go ahead and say, and we talk to her about what the objective is, and then we provide her, and again, what she does primarily, lots of writing. Right now, she's working on waivers, 601A waivers, and that's trying to make a case for the spouse of a U.S. citizen or legal permanent resident, why they should be allowed to remain in the U.S. And those are very compelling arguments. And in there, so when we started her down this path, we gave her, I guess, the building blocks of the knowledge she would need. So that's one of the reasons that we spend so much time with our clerks that the thing that would just break my heart is if later they say, you know what, I'm not interested in immigration, because it's you've got to work towards it. It's not going to be laid out for you. So we do require quite a bit of study. Like, we'll give you something to study and say, okay, we're going to take it this way. So she's doing that. She's researching parts. Again, we parachute her in to that area of law, and she's doing research, and she's preparing legal memorandums. Those of you who think that that case analysis is silly, you better start liking case analysis, because that's what we're going to be asking you to do all day long, is writing and presenting a good argument and being able to spot the issue and coming up with some solid research.
Okay, I have a couple of questions. Because you guys have mentioned internships. My own case is a little different. So I'm actually on LLM, doing my master's in immigration law. I will be finishing maybe in a week and a half from TSU. So what kind of position do you have available for me? Because I'm really interested in immigration law. I've been able to, during my course of study, I would say I gained a 360 view, because I did both, the perm aspect. I did consular processing, asylum, the VAWA, I-360 petitions, criminal immigration, like all around.
You got a repertoire. What's your name? Would you repeat your name, please?
Nkiruka Smith.
Keroka.
Nkiruka. You can call me Grace. That's my middle name.
Well, no, I want to learn how to. So Grace. Okay, I'll call you Grace, but then I'll remember. I'll figure out. I'm really bad with pronunciation on different names. Keroka, Grace. Okay. Well, we've got. See, you've got a lot of tools in your toolbox already, Grace, and we've got opportunities for people like yourself that are able to. How many are you full time with your LLM program?
Yes, I'm literally done. My commencement is on December 11th.
Okay.
When will
So
you take the bar?
In February.
February, okay.
Okay, so So the thing about it is that we are looking for someone to kind of take us through the rest of the spring, and hopefully, and of course, the times of the year that we get very excited are the times of the year which are Christmas and summer, because then we get to have our students for full time, right? So your situation's a little bit different because you actually have some tools that have been developed. So, maybe there could be an opportunity, because we are needing help right now. Now, once you start studying for your bar, at the end of the year, you're going to be dedicated, I hope, 100% to passing that bar. So we don't want then. So it would be trying to see what opportunities we have available that way you could come and help us between now and the end of the year. Okay. So I think what we have to do is talk and see how much time you have available, and also see see your areas of where we could possibly, where you could help us and we could help you get some experience on your resume.
Okay.
And I have just put both Sarah and Jacob's email into the chat box. So you guys will have that as a resource if you guys want to reach out after in the next following days. But if no one else has any questions, or if we're ready to wrap up, I'll pass it to Kristen.
Thank you so much. This has been an informative presentation, and I'm happy that we had students on the call to gather the information and spread the word among their classmates. Hopefully we will continue to stay in touch about potential opportunities for students and recent grads with the firm. And if anyone has any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. And I'm happy to connect you with both Jake and Sarah for any future opportunities. So thank you, everybody. Have a great night.
Thank you all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Joe.
Bye-bye. Thanks to all of you.